Warm wishes everyone. I am Maithili SK of ECE department. I am happy to discuss the topic on mobile technologies with you. I have planned the agenda with introduction to communication systems, followed by era of generation, with each generation being explained in the forthcoming slides. Communication is nothing but data transmission from one point to another. It can be configured as wired or else wireless communication. So wired communication is nothing but the short or limited range communication which requires dedicated connection to establish communication between two ends. Hence it requires wires. These wires cannot be established for a long distance communication. Coming to wireless communication, which is nothing but a telecommunication, this telecommunication uses air as a medium for interfacing between the two nodes, that is the sender and the receiver. Hence, long distance communication can be established in case of wireless communication. Coming to the era of generation, as far as we have seen with mobile generation technologies, we have seen the generation of mobile technologies in our day-to-day life. That is, the improvement in oneself as the growth is established. So this is shown by means of different mobile technologies which evolved from 1981, starting with first generation, followed with 2G in the early of 1990s. Then 3G came into existence in 2000, followed by 4G, and now the research work is going on 5G. So we'll see one by one what is the generation tells about and what are the technologies involved in it. Coming to first generation, which is shortly called as 1G, this technologies includes NMT, Nordic Mobile Telephony, TACS, Total Access Communication Systems, ETACS, European Total Access Communication Systems. This first generation communication or mobile telephone systems, this first generation is based on analog systems which uses analog signals for data transmission. This data rate is very low, which is nothing but 2.4 kbps, which is unable to cover long distance communication. Hence, it paved path for second generation mobile technologies, that is 2G. This 2G uses digital signal and it was introduced in the year 1992. This uses technology of GSM along with CDMA sometimes. GSM is nothing but Groupie Special Mobile. Later it is accepted as a global system, so it is called as Global System for Mobile Communication, and CDMA is nothing but Code Division Multiple Access. This GSM is the most successful technology in mobile communication technologies, and CDMA is prominently used in USA. Based on the countries it differs. To improve the voice communication which is provided in 2G, we go for further improvement in data rate, so we step into 2.5G. As mentioned earlier, voice communication provided by 2G is a plus, as although we need for data transmission. Hence, to provide voice as well as data transmission, 2.5G came into existence. This technology used GPRS, that is General Packet Radio Service, whose data rate is increased to 56 to 64 kbps. Here packet in the form of the data in the form of packet is being transmitted over the air interface, that is radio service, that is simply called as radio service. Coming to 2.75G, to increase the data rate of 2.5G, 2.75 was introduced. This technology includes EDGE, which is nothing but enhanced data rate for GSM evolution. Here the data rate is increased up to 170 kbps. Hence we could see the growth of mobile technologies in the second generation itself, where the data rate is increased to from 64 kbps to 170 kbps. So all these technologies, that is 2G, 2.5G with 2.75G, using the technology between GSM, GPRS and Edge, is called as 2G technologies. Since we are in the era of mobile technologies where we need both this voice and data transmission, nowadays we are using GSM combined with Edge technology. So coming to third generation, the target to increase the data rate of 2G, this third generation was introduced in the earlys of 2000. Here the technologies used is UMTS and WCDMA. UMTS is nothing but Universal Mobile Telecommunication Terrestrial Systems. The data rate of UMTS is increased to 384 kbps. It has different features including video calling, heavy gaming, transferring large files between Bluetooth, etc. we can say. So next coming should be a 4G, but there is an intermittent where it has a 3.5G technology using HSDPA, which is known as high-speed downlink packet access. Along with it, high-speed uplink packet access. So here we know the downlink and uplink frequencies differ in nature, since the community is dependent more on the downloading of data packets rather than uploading the data packets. Approximately the data rate is mentioned here as 2 Mbps. Next coming here is 3.75G and 3.9G. 3.75G technology includes HSPA plus, which is nothing but high speed packet access plus. This plus sign indicates increase in the data rate. Next comes 3.9G technology, which is nothing but LTE, long-term evolution. For revenue purpose, this can be called as 4G LTE. This revenue purpose, gaining revenue, may be used for further research. Coming to fourth generation mobile technologies, this was introduced in 2007. The technology includes 4G LTE, which is known as long-term evolution. Here the data rate of LTE for two categories of downlink as well as uplink is given. For downlink it is 100 Mbps, for uplink it is 50 Mbps. As we have discussed earlier, we could see the difference in the data rate. For uplink it is much higher than the uplink data rate. Coming to the fifth generation, the target to be set is expected by the year of 2020. The data rate planned here to be achieved is 5 Gbps. Whenever it is supposed we are using a 5 Gbps of data rate, we can say we are under fifth generation. Still, many companies are focusing on the research, and it is still under the research criteria only. Hence, you are now clear with the technologies used for mobile for different stages, which is noted as generation of mobile communication technologies. Thank you. Warm wishes everyone. I am Maithili.